No.
Don't know why this keeps happening. Why do I keep dying?
What?
Alright, Max, you're whitelisted if you want to join.
Oh, apparently we're going at like 9. To
Guys, you gonna join back or no?
I know. Yeah, it's one. I think that's it. Yeah.
I got kicked again.
Yeah, you did.
Are you well going?
Bye.
Yeah, it probably crashed how many entities there were.
Can I have creative?
I already gave you. Okay.
Whenever
Creative at E
just Opus.
at A. Okay. Up at A. What? Why did I make everybody a server? What? I made myself a server operator.
Should we make a mob farm because we can't get a spawner?
No, we have to create the island first.
Yeah. We're sticking with the one chunk thing, right?
Yeah, I'm just creating more of like stone. So we have to have that one bedrock, or 4 bedrock that always lays at the middle bottom. Well, I can put you in creative, so.
Mike, I'm gonna make a mob farm because we don't have.
Wait, why did you just add 4 jungle? Bro, remove these, what do you mean? Make two normal oak.
2 normal oak.
Yeah. Alright.
And then gets kicked out. This is the only one that gets for free.
Not using a friend now?
Apparently. And this is for free.
There. Maybe you can't hold on. Yeah, you can definitely land in the water. Did I not set world spawn? I thought I set world spawn. Hold on.
You did. Just not working. I wish you can get item durability gone.
How do we do that? How do we get rid of item durability?
Because we need that gone if we're just staying on the island.
Yeah, that'd be good for like golden pickaxes.
Yeah. Just golden tools. But where do we get gold?
Yeah, how do you even get gold on this island? How is the normal skyblock made?
I don't know. Mike.
Yeah.
Just should I make like a mob farm because we can't make that on the island?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Should I
Just make
it
a
now?
chest. Make a chest that has Make a chest that has one ice, one normal ice, one lava bucket, and just that. Then we can make a cobblestone generator, which can make.
I mean like a mob spawner. You can't make those.
Oh, then yeah.
Oh, because I'm gonna make one.
Alright, put one in a chest. Put one in a chest. Alright, I'm gonna see if I can. See if I can jump in this. That was a bad jump. Yep, nope, we're fine. But you're not allowed to jump in any water. No jumping in Agua.
And if you
Or else,
do,
or else you're banned. Or else you're gone. You're banned. Did I hear a creeper? Creeper?
and
Creeper?
why is it falling? What the heck?
Oh man. Why are you adding so many... Jackie, what are you doing?
It's not far enough, dang it. Okay, this is far enough. Yeah, $10. I'm not spending $10 for a Minecraft server that can get hacked.
We can literally get a realm with that. We can...
Oh
So?
man.
Creeper.
It's not.
Why? That ain't worth it, bro.
Of course you do.
Creeper. Oh man.
So we back in my.
This task is cool and one. Got a massive diamonds tonight, night. Diamonds tonight. Heads up. You hear a sound, turn around and look up.
Total shock. Fills your.
Fills your body. Oh no, it's you again. I could never forget those eyes, 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 eyes. Cause baby tonight, the creeper's gonna steal our stuff again. Stuff
Mike,
again. What?
I'm gonna make. Can I make a mob spawner because we can't make one?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get in the corner. I'm gonna get in the corner.
No, put it in the chest so we can use it wisely.
You can't. I'm pretty. Wait. You want me to?
Hold
I
on.
was thinking of making one before we start. Because we don't have.
Hold up. I can give myself a spawner. Holla.
Get in front of me.
Alright, I have a spawner. I don't think it has anything in it. It's a pig spawner.
Do you want me to make? You want me to make a big one?
How do you make an spawner other than a pig spawner?
Oh, sorry, wait. Give me a minute.
Here's spawner. No, just knock back.
Where the heck was the So,
Yeah.
I was thinking about making like those boxes where they put
Yeah, that's why we gotta put it in the chest so we can do that. Do that.
It's of execution, graduates clap from the grass. Thou shalt go no further.
Is this server open?
Mine is. I made one.
Oh, you made one, Michael?
Yeah, it's like Skyblock kind of.
Okay. Can you send me the,
It's in general.
it's in general? How far back in general? That's the question.
We already have a good size server. What are you talking about?
Michael,
Yeah, what?
What are we missing? Mushrooms. Need to grow that stuff. We need communism.
Hold up.
could you just send it to me, Michael? I can't find it.
It's literally the second image. It's deafthis.atirnos.main. It's literally the second one in general. Well, it's the message that I sent in general.
See it.
Oh yeah, we gotta make that welcome sign. That's always in the game.
Yo, we should play some Bed Wars. Dude, okay, so I played
I can't.
I played 2 4v4s, random 4v4s, and I won both of them, and they were super quick games. Can't you Bed Wars, Michael?
I can't. I'm still banned.
Brian's account.
I know, but
My question is, where did we get words?
Don't. It's a Skyblock, you don't.
Stand box will back up.
300 days below the sun feels overrun. And the battle has begun. Nowhere to run. Father and son fall one by one. Under the gun, you will be done. And the judgment has begun. Nowhere to run. Father and son fall one by one. Fields overdone.
Welcome to Ghetto Skyblock, made by
No,
Big
whitelist
Dog
me,
Mike
Michael, you have to
69.
whitelist me. Michael!
I'm whitelisting you!
Did you do it yet?
There, I whitelisted you.
Joining.
You got blacklisted.
Red listed. What is this thing, dude? This is so
no
weird.
Christian Minecraft server.
Why is like everything dead? Why is there so much scaffolding?
Oh. I'm doing something, don't destroy it.
Ravine, boys.
Cars keeping vengeance on that German battleship, which blew up
Why are you
the mighty
up
battle
there?
cruiser
Who's
Hood.
flying?
Signal comes by wireless.
It's loading. Ooh,
Should I
where do I
make this
go?
extra hard?
So, did you find the boat?
I'm lagging. I'm lagging, Max. This is mean. Every time. You're gonna kill yourself. I'm in water, you can't touch me.
So we back in the mine.
So we back in the mine.
Why do you get game mode command? You can kill me when I'm in the water. It
Is
doesn't
that
hurt.
peaceful?
Oh, it doesn't actually.
So we back in the mine.
Why can't I use commands?
Cause you're not ops. Hey, destroy that! Get that out of here, Albanian.
What the heck?
God, you're lagging me a lot.
Who wants to get a really good knockback stick? Hold on.
Knockback 2 million.
No, it's gonna get, are you gonna have knockback 10? No, knockback 15.
Omega knockback 20. Bet.
No. Dang it, command block. Hold up, I gotta change that, hold up.
So we back in the mine. Side.
Alright, command block now enable them. I gotta figure out which commandment is knockback.
Commandment?
No, command, not commandment. For a moment. What? Everybody leave for a second. We gotta, everybody has to leave for us just a second.
Wait, hold on, I haven't left yet.
I didn't do anything. I enabled command blocks for just a minute. So I can get everybody cool knockback sticks and knock everybody off.
Are we good to join?
Did everybody leave? Alright, join back.
No. No, you.
You can't edit things in command blocks in survival. Get yourself creative.
You can give yourself command blocks, right?
Did it not work? No, did you?
Still
Oh,
loading.
stop editing it. Let me edit it. Let me edit the command block. I am command block man. Yes, you did. Don't edit it. Okay. I'm just gonna have to give myself the Oh. Oh god. Help. Tutorial sword. Nani?
Gave myself 64 command blocks.
They're not gonna do anything.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Are they broken?
No. I just disabled them.
Oh. Well, did you make the sticks?
Max, stop. You're gonna Max! Alright, let's not give your, alright guys, let's not give yourself 64 command blocks next time, alright? You guys just crashed the server. This is what happens.
The sticks yet, Michael?
Max, you might get banned, alright? You might get banned.
I give you that.
Wait, Sean, did you take part in that also?
What?
Sean
What?
probably did.
What?
Cause I saw did you give yourself 64 command blocks?
No,
Okay.
maybe? I didn't place a single one.
Slash ban at E. Everyone's banned. Unban me. Slash unban me after I'm banned.
So, is like the server restarting or what?
No, the server crashed, so I'm starting it up again.
I'm sorry, Michael. That's true, but I helped in breaking it because I gave myself 64 command blocks, and that pushed stress on the server.
Do you like the server, icon?
Yes, it's a Splatoon boy.
It's not Splatoon, it's Splatim!
Splatoon!
Splatoona? Jackie! Is Jackie AFK?
I believe so. It says encrypting. What does that mean?
That means that's loading in.
Oh, okay.
It's loading all the stuff. I'm...
Spavy.
A spade. I think... it's up. It's up, boys. I have 13 more days until I'm banned for Epic. I have 12, I still have 12 XP set. Don't stop. At P negative Okay, I have 12,000 experience points, and I don't know how to get rid of. You left the game.
Is the server good or dead?
How do you, unban? Um, yeah, I know, it's all a tip of my tongue. Help.
He's crawling.
Old Betsy.
Cool, where are you?
No more of that. Where am I? Not on your server. Cause you're gone! Alright. That was a joke, by the way.
We're banned.
I banned you. I unbanned both you guys.
This is my game of act creative.
Thank you, bro.
Off.
Max, you good?
I just shot Jackie in the face.
This is a memorial for the death of.
Going to get a Skyblock. Big boys, big Mike, big dog Mike.
This is a memorial of the one who died on that day.
How do you make a
Ooga booga, give me rights.
come look at the composter?
I got myself the knockback stick, boys.
You give me one? I want one.
Yes, I can.
Michael, give me knockback stick.
Oh wait, I didn't even get knockback, Ori. What do you mean? There. Oh, there we go. Now I got it. Hold on, Max. Are you still in survival? Wait, put the chest back. Put the chest back. Put the chest back. You have the chest stuff. You have the chest stuff. Where are you? Sean, don't do it. Sean, don't do it. Nope. Who did it?
Blew it up.
It was Max. It was Max.
Max
Sean's gone.
fell off. Oh, I didn't know I was not
You guys
creative
are
anymore.
actually so annoying.
What the heck, guys?
I was building a memorial.
It was a memorial for Jurgen.
Yergen. Not Yergen.
Fine.
Alright, who broke the chest? It had like sand or something. Alright, well, who picked up the stone? Alright, well,
Exploded it.
somebody put sand in the
Who
chest.
exploded it?
Alright, that's an unreasonable amount.
Who
Knockback.
exploded it?
No, I'm
Why?
busy. No. Hold on. Let me do some real quick.
If he says no, then no.
Yes.
No.
I never said that. But I also never said no. So, maybe it does mean yes. Hold on, Jackie, I'm gonna test this out. Hold on.
Why didn't it no work? Why didn't portal no work?
Alright, Jackie, I'm testing this out. Stand still. Oh my god, Jackie. What are you doing? Stop! Why are you making an ender
Why did he die?
Can we kick him?
Okay, I didn't know we were gonna fall off. It's not my fault.
Why even making it?
But I was playing with Max. It no work, Michael. Explain. Guess we just have to follow the Eye of Ender.
Why are you even going to the end?
Dude, why not?
This is a Skyblock. We're making Skyblock, not messing around.
Yo,
Uh-huh.
regular Minecraft.
In that
is so
case, you're gone.
No.
Slash ban ultimate diamond. Gay.
Inventory's clean.
Clean inventory. Ban.
And it'd be unbanned.
Max pardon him. What are we doing? Stop this. Stop. Yes, stop.
What the heck?
Stop.
Did anything? Why was I banned?
I was
Why was
building
I
a
banned? I
grave.
literally was not doing anything.
Brian. I never said I was talking to you. Hey Sean, stand still for a second. Look at me. Sean, right. Yeet.
Ah, Max, you're so annoying.
Max, turn your game mode to survival. For a second.
I'm at the bottom now.
Look at
Hey,
me.
Michael.
You just got yeeted. Sean, look at me. Sean, look at me. I keep trying to set world spawn. Set world spawn. Right there. Everybody die. Everybody die. Hold on. I want to test this out. John, die.
Why do I keep getting killed? Can I at
Alright,
least have a stick?
respawn. Alright, good.
Can I have a stick? Please do not get killed.
Yeah, I can make everybody sticks, okay? Alright, does everybody want sticks? Here, you can have a stick, Jackie. Anybody else want a stick?
I want one.
Alright, our skyblock is finished, alright guys?
I didn't get a stick. Michael, I didn't get a stick yet.
Right there!
I'm gonna leave soon. I'm gonna leave.
You can teleport yourself, bro.
No.
Meow. Meow.
Alright, our skyblock is done. Rip, death. Causes ran over by our reindeer.
You can kill me.
You barely were in time. Hey, Max. Goodbye, Max.
I'm back.
Ah! Well, guess what? I'm in creative mode, so suck it.
Eagle's not even here yet.
You're gonna fall. Why? Okay. You banned the host. Unban me right now.
I didn't ban you, Michael. Max did.
I know you are.
Michael, why am I banned? Oh, stop and accidentally hit the enter button. Michael. Michael, let me join, please. I didn't do anything.
Rules given as suited.
Why didn't I get commands? I didn't do anything bad. Max did.
Maybe you did, maybe you didn't.
Michael, I literally didn't ban a single person. And I didn't do anything bad. I wasn't gonna light it up. I didn't even have anything to light it with. Not the stick.
Max, I can't even hit you.
Max, you get your own stick. Okay, never mind.
Don't break the ground.
That's interesting. Nature is so much fun.
What?
What?
Oh. No.
Is nausea not a thing anymore?
What? Okay. What?
That's what it's called, a pro gamer move.
Hey Sean, feel the wrath of my blaze rod.
I have a light fairy, you can't kill me.
Oh sure? I have sharpness 10 on my blaze rod.
Oh, it didn't kill me.
I did now.
Yep. And I did not spawn anywhere near.
Sean, when did you give me weakness?
It's lasted this long?
Yeah, it's been a lot of minutes. Hold on. Nope. Worked for me. It worked for you, but not us. It's gone now.
Wait, what's the name? No, upside down.
Dinner bone. Or you could just name a sheep Jeb underscore. All lowercase.
What their sheep?
Those sheep just got banned from my Minecraft. Yes, I'm making the most over stick right now. ID level 10. Close. What's another sword enchantment?
And of arthropods.
Other than that,
Fire aspect.
loyalty is not for, that's for bows.
Looting.
Ah, that's what I need. Quick draw. Quick draw? That's not even an enchantment. I don't. Wait, is it in the 1.14 update? I might be dumb. I might be a dummy dumb. Hey, Max. You want to see what my response is to this? You're dead. I have the golden stick of God. Blaze rod. I'm about to nick it the Ember rod in memory of my ban on caps lock. What? Oh, it's tap. Wow, quick draw. Curse of vanishing. Nice. I wonder what that is. Sean, why are you making a massive tower of gold with creepers on it?
You didn't want to know. Just come over to me. Teleport to me. Watch this. Come watch this. It's funny.
Why are there so many sheep named Yeb?
Are you watching?
Maybe.
Like, are you on the ground?
Maybe.
Watch from the ground. dare you?
Stop launching sheep. Actually make Skyblock. Why is there a Minecraft with a command block? And I did /game mode search
Ryan.
Army of Lovians. And I did Ember Rod with knockback 10 and sharpness 10 and looting 10. No, you're not. I'm God. I will smite you. Wait, how do you smite?
Oh, I should do that with the creepers.
No, not on the chest, not on the chest. And you'll be dead. You troll. I've got an Ember Rod that does a lot of damage. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you put on a tool, if you put, what is it? Unbreakable 1 on a tool, it's not unbreaking, but it's unbreakable 1, then it doesn't break. What are you making? What is this?
Didn't work yet.
I really want to play some Skyblock on my account. Try to. What the? You guys wanna see a cursed image? No.
In there, man.
Alright guys, you wanna see a cursed image? Come to the forest here. Guys, come to me.
Where are you? Are you at the island?
No! I'm near the forest. I'm next to a pumpkin man. TP me. Alright, watch.
Oh yeah, you can make him smaller.
Now it's dead.
Michael, make another one. There's something else.
And now, watch this. It's gonna have the curse of vanishing like my dad. I mean, what? Yeah. Alright, Philip. Snowball. You missed one, by the way. Snowballs. Too bad. This guy's got the curse of vanishing. That one doesn't deserve to live. Neither do these two. Go get them, soldiers! Max! I mean, this will help with Skyblock. we kind of do it near the center so that they kind of all make the divot. Alright, hold up. You're doing it bad. Creeper. Alright. Oh my god! Alright, Max, teleport to me. Just teleport to me. Jump in there. Alright, now slash lightning bolt. You just go flying! What? Alright, now hold up, don't light them all. Wait, they all just died. Oh, that's bad. Okay. Alright, let's do this. Oh, get in. Get in. What the you bought no back sneak? Alright, go. I could not light everybody. Light everybody.
Hey, you guys wanna see a cool trick I saw? You can't stop me.
Alright, kill it easily. Hold up. Where are you? Alright, Wither, you're dead. No, wait. Blow up already, bitch. You're dead.
But can you stop? 7.
Yeah, whenever charged creepers spawn and they blow up things. Oh god, hold up. Well, I thought I killed you, bitch. Sean.
Oh my god! I can't move!
No, I got this, bro.
Michael's got this, bro.
Yeah, I got this. I'm cleaning them all up. I still got one more left. Hold up. I still got one more left. That was a spelling accident.
Undone me. Yes.
I could probably hop on Ryan's account. Why is there so many iron golems? Get out of here. One shot iron golems. Big sexy man. No, he's not. He's a dead man.
Can you spawn in the ender dragon?
If you do, I'll kill you.
How do you do it?
This is the command. / ban ultimate diamond reason die.
You didn't even do anything. I don't even know how to do it.
Harmony summon new throne ender. What? Wait, hold up.
Oh.
What are you doing? Why are you in this cave? Ah! It's dead. Yes. Yes. Alright. Alright, all of them are dead now. I would like to file an apology. Oops. Looks like he's in survival. And now he's gone. And he looks like he forgot that he had elytra.
I
Hey,
don't
Max.
think I still have them.
How you doing?
I do.
And I have the power to... And I have the power to... Wait. To... /KYS. Wait, is it... It's raining and thundering over there, but it's not right here. Wait, Max, come over here. Come at me. Come here. It's just raining at one point and not in the other.
Ah! I'm dead already. I didn't even respawn. Ow! Me.
No,
Yeah,
hold
that's
on.
another reason.
Max! You're dead. You're dead again. Alright, no more of this nonsense.
Let me hit the freaking server! Let me-
Guys, look, it's a creeper spawn. Creeper? Aw, man. Let's play some creeper baseball.
He unbanned.
He's over there now. He's over there now. He's over there now. He's over there now. Baseball, home run.
Michael, unban me, please.
Maybe. Hey, what? I was about to... I was about to yeet you, but you would yeet! Bakamonoka! Wait, it says it. Hold on. Somebody go into survival mode and come to me.
I'm gonna find my stick. Oh, my stick. Oh, there's my stick.
Alright. I want to test this out. This is enchantment level knockback 0. Alright, that makes sense. Now enchantment level knockback a lot. That is sharpness a lot. Okay. What? Hi. Stop. Max, are you in survival? Wait, no, wait. Hold up. Alright, Max, hold still. Hold still, alright? No! Sean!
I almost died.
Out of here.
Ah!
The mouse is being a pain. Back, okay. Hold up, I'll kill Sean, hold on. He's gone.
I don't like trouble!
Jesus Christ. My knockback stick has knockback 200. And it's so fun to mess around with.
Can I have one, please?
No. You gotta make yourself an enchantment.
Please do that.
Yes, I can. Oh my god, you're gone.
Now I have a light.
Yep.
Ah!
Why did you set the tick speed? No. Reset that. That's how Brian's server died. Stop that. Die! Too bad. Tick speed back to 1. I have way too many knockback sticks. Everyone that has knockback a lot. No. That's not better. How about 1? 1 would be nice. Tick speed 1 would be nice, you know? Hold up. I want to test this out. Hold up. Water! 1v1, boy! Too bad, I live.
He was found. Michael, how do you enchant it?
You sure about that? Hold up.
Michael,
You sure
how
about
do you
that?
enchant the thing?
How do you enchant it? Look it up. No. I really want. You guys want to play some bed? Nope. No. Oops. I meant to hit you into a wall, okay?
No entity was found. What do you mean no entity was found?
Pardon me.
Stop.
Pardon me.
Max, let us in.
Pardon me. Maybe. I didn't do it. Sean did.
I didn't do it.
Oh, why did you ban yourself?
I want you guys to start a new game, okay? I'm about to dip out of my old game.
Why this? Oh my.
Why'd you leave? Oh. Wow, you're so cool.
You did that for you like 10 times. We're fair now. We're even.
No. Oh, you know what I can do? So none of this happens. I can do that. You know? Okay, get in. Get yourself in. We can just do this. Guess what? I disabled the server.
Can you undo that, Michael?
Bed Wars, maybe?
Yes. Yes.
Hold up, I'll be back, I'll be back, I'll be back, I'll be
These are
back.
my language now, guy.
Yeah, essentially, it's possible that females can grow things like hair, muscle, teeth, and bone in a little pouch, but here's the thing. The pouch is located right on the ovary. Growing teeth in the ovaries, always thought it was a bit weird. You can even grow things like thyroid tissue or skin cancer inside of the teratoma. Anyway, they usually get removed without too much issue, but they're kind of gross.
I can't play Bed Wars, you didn't allow
If
me.
you're curious to see pictures, Wikipedia says men get
Who
them
didn't
too.
allow you, Brian?
Brian.
Respiratory therapist
Brain over
if you
here.
have surgery or are sick, the best
Alright,
thing you can do
back
to
to
keep your
the
lungs
server.
open when you're confined to a bed is cough.
No, we can
Pressure
play
will
a
help
different
open
server.
any areas that may have collapsed.
My
Right on.
Pixel?
Take deep breaths. Cough. Use
I
your
guess.
incentives.
My
for
Pixel was
it
not
helps
good.
avoid atelectasis and can
In my head,
lessen your
Bed Wars.
chances
Actually,
of
we
getting
play
pneumonia. I
Egg
feel
Wars.
like many people don't understand the
play
importance of
what?
doing these things
Egg Wars,
post-operatively.
it's like Bed Wars, but easier.
I don't really like Bed Wars. I don't really like Mindflix.
Wanna play on Keepcraft then? We can play Egg Wars.
Welcome to the Freelancer's Journey.
Egg
A course
Wars.
that covers
Just get on
Bed
freelance web
Mindflix.
design in what John calls
It's the next best
excruciating
thing.
detail. But that's because the goal of this course
Even
is
though
to
it's
give you
not
every
good.
tool you need to be successful.
What? Play some what? No thanks. I think I uninstalled CSGO. What? No thanks.
We can play Super Smash Mobs.
Oh, let's do that, let's do that. The IP? You don't have the IP. Look up Mindflex IP on
Let's go
Google.
mindflex.com.
Mindflex, not Mindex. Alright.
Go, it won't work.
I have 3,000 gems. What do I do with gems? Sean, what do I do with gems?
You buy stuff with it.
Where? Who's this?
Oops.
You're bad.
Michael, what's your name?
Let's do some creative.
Are we being blondies? Are we blondie girls?
What?
Toxic with a D.
No way.
How do you, like, what can you buy? Can you buy, like, chests?
Oh. Hey, Michael, can you type your name into Discord?
Big underscore Mike 22. It's
Capital B?
big underscore Mike 22. That's it.
Is it capital M, Michael?
Yes, I put it in Discord.
Added you to my friends list.
I did it. Like, where do you spend your gems? Thanks. You're very cool. Where's the store?
Fishing for Big Mike Tutu across the network. Let's join the party.
I see you.
You?
Yeah, hi.
Oh, hi, Big Mike Tutu.
I have a particle effect, apparently. I have the 5 years of Mindplex particle effects.
Oh, sorry, Max. It's only a 2-person.
Alright, well then we should play a 3-person one.
I don't know what 3-person. True.
I'm gonna play... Yeah, I'm gonna play the skeleton. Wait, who said it? Was he implying on you?
I'm gonna kill it.
Where's everybody?
I don't know. Where are you? I see him. Michael, where are you? Michael, I'm being attacked! Michael, where are you? I'm so scared. Oh, there you are, Michael. No, Michael, I'm dead!
I'm gonna die. I fell off. We're bad, bro. We're so bad at this game. 3 lives left, bro.
You left?
Wow, that guy just fell off, bro. Nice.
Michael, I'm being assaulted.
Where are you?
I'm at the top thing.
Hey, Sean!
Michael. Michael, that
We
wither
won't
skeleton.
rush through the deep.
Coming after me.
The average person
Bad
can
day.
only use about 10-20%. Cops of Reddit, what are some of the best/worst ways people have tried to get out of getting a ticket from you?
It's lagging so
Someone
bad.
I knew.
What the-
was
I got-
trying to
I got
get
a
out
little
of
skeleton, I
drinking
got a
and
little
driving.
skeleton.
She went up to the cop and was like, listen, we are all white here. Needless to say, she went to jail. Coworker of mine was speeding one day on a southbound highway. Told the cop, hey man, I know you got to give me a ticket, but please write out for northbound, or else my wife will think I'm cheating on her. The cop laughed and told him to slow down and let him off. He was not married, nor was he even seeing anybody. Pulled over an unregistered vehicle. They tried to offer me money. Behind me was a very large group of students watching on. All of them had access to my microphone to hear what was going on. I tried to explain this to the driver. He simply wouldn't listen or didn't understand. Not that it would have made a difference, but I would have preferred to avoid having to arrest him for a stupid mistake. He ended up getting arrested for a range of charges. Not a cop, but I've seen many of my ex's ways on avoiding tickets, and she has avoided many tickets. Her best escape was by faking being mute. Unfortunately, she knows sign language. Most cops would feel bad ticketing her, so they just let her go, while I feel bad for those cops. Flirting is always bad, but is especially bad when the driver is really old, really young, or has their family in the car with them. I don't consider myself to be super attractive, but people will do anything to get out of a ticket. Threatening the officer is also pretty bad. That's happened before. Sometimes it is threatening to kill my family if I write them a ticket, but sometimes people get a little more creative. Some racist people assume that I'm an illegal immigrant and threaten to report me if I write them a ticket. That one always makes me laugh. Bribing is always interesting. Some of the things people come up with are actually kind of funny. As a driver, had cop pull me over. I was 17 roughly, driving my mom's new car at almost 30 over in a residential area. Cop walks up, asks if it's a new car. Yup, bet you can't even hear the engine when it gets going. Yup, steering is probably pretty good, right? Yup, etc for several more questions. Then just walks back to his car and drives. His point was well established, but it was weird as hell to me at the time. I literally never offered one excuse. He did, and I just sat there answering yup. I once got caught speeding and told the cops to embarrass me. I really had to go too, which was true. He took my info and said with a little smile, you can go. You'll receive the ticket by mail. It has been 6 months now and still nothing. Did he gracefully change his mind? My friend had a theory that if you could make a cop laugh, you can get out of a ticket. I'd watched him do this on 3 occasions. Once, he was actually going 40 miles over the posted limit, a felony, and he told the cop that he was trying to get tampons to his girlfriend, who was cheering at our high school football away game. That was the actual truth. She clocked him going 95 in a 55. Let him off with a warning after some easy chat and a few laughs. The best, though, was when he got pulled over for having a busted turn signal. He handed the cop his license and asked, "Do you think I look better now, or when I took that picture?" The cop looked up and hesitated and he actually thought about it. And the cop went back to his car. He walked back with his hand on his gun and said, "Do you realize there's a warrant out?" Step out of the vehicle. He unbuttons his holster. "I'm just fucking with you, man. You fuck with me, and I'm gonna fuck with you." My friend claimed he wasn't scared, but that's complete bullshit. We all laughed. Cop let us go with a warning. Not a cop, but a friend was once stopped for a broken headlight. In my country there's a fine for that. He didn't know what to do, so he got out of his car, no paranoid police here, and told the officer that the light does that sometimes and kicked it. It actually fucking worked. The light turned back on, and he was off his way. Not a cop, but I've been pulled over 5+ times, and have never had a ticket. I also have several family friends who are officers. 2 best pieces of advice I have. Be as perfectly respectful and polite as you can. Please / thank you. Yes sir / ma'am, no sir / ma'am. If it is matter, turn on all the interior lights before the officer even gets to your window. It is a lot less scary approaching a car that you can see inside of. Not a cop, but someone I know got pulled over doing about 80 in a 50, and when the officer approached his window and asked why were you driving so fast, this person's response was, "Sorry officer, I was trying to get my flux capacitor up."
Show, don't tell. Every writer, every designer, every artist
Up to speed. The cop didn't find it very funny. As a patrol officer, you pull cars over multiple times a day. After almost 10 years in law enforcement, I've pulled over many. I've heard them all. Best, that would have to be the guy I pulled over for speeding. I made my approach. Guy rolls down window. I said my speech. He looks me right in the eye and softly says I was speeding. "I'm sorry. But, you see, I'm in the military. Just an hour ago I got back from my tour in Iraq. My girlfriend here just picked me up from the airport, and to be honest, I was rushing home to my 2-minute welcome home bank session. Looking in the backseat I see military style duffel bags, miscellaneous military BDU uniforms, a folded up welcome home banner, and his girlfriend in passenger seat gave me this yay. That's the truth look. Have fun, I said, and handed him back his license. Worst, oh man. There's so many. I have to take a shit is used more often than one might think. The ones I always enjoy are, "Well, I know officer so and so very well. He'll get me out of this." That's guaranteed to get you a ticket. Following closely is the "Do you not have anything better to do than harass the public?" Nope, not today. Not this exact moment. You're the lucky winner. Press hard. My dad was pulled over going way too fast on the interstate late at night, like 1 to 2 a.m. He is an anesthesiologist and got called into work because someone had been shot. It turned out that the person who had been shot was a cop, and so not only did my dad not receive a ticket, he got a police escort to the hospital, and he has refused to tell me exactly how fast they went. Hearing that story as a kid made me think my very by the book author dad was super. I love the video of the woman talking to an officer that pulled her over for failure to stop. "I thought you didn't give pretty girls tickets?" "Pardon me, I thought you didn't give pretty girls tickets?" "You didn't think we gave pretty girls tickets?" "You're absolutely right. We don't. Sign here." Get dispatched to an accident and find a Corolla flipped onto its roof. Driver was sitting on the curb with very minor injuries and no one else was hurt in the collision. I ended up arresting driver for DUI. She was 19 and this was her third DUI. Her response, why are we wasting each other's time? Just let me go. It's not like I killed anyone. Unfortunately, with the way the courts work in L.A. County, she was probably going to get her without any consequences. Lol. I'm not a cop, and I don't drink alcohol, but I couldn't resist saying this once. When I was pulled over, the officer approached my car. I gave him my license, registration, and insurance. Then he asked me, are you drinking tonight? And I answered, are you buying? I wish I could say that was an original, but I actually heard that from a friend of mine who was a retired highway patrolman. Working for a small town, where everyone knows everyone, I see a car blow a stop sign at a high rate of speed without tapping their brakes or slowing down. I pull the car over, and it's a woman that had served me lunch at our local diner earlier in the day. When I walk up I see her starting to cry until she recognizes me. Then magically the tears were instantly gone. We make small chit chat for a couple minutes, and she tells me thank God it's you who pulled me over or else I know I'd be getting a ticket. I laugh and ask for her just for formalities. I wasn't planning on giving her a citation until I saw her past record. In the previous 3 months she had been pulled over 7 times and given 5 citations. Everything from speeding, mostly for over 25 miles per hour the posted limit, and running stop signs. Seeing this I know she hasn't learned her lesson about safe driving and needs another reminder. So I write her. I go back to her car and she starts screaming at me saying I thought you were one of the cool cops. I tell her to have a nice night and to take a moment to calm down before she drives off. She tells me screw you and rolls up her window. Just because I know you doesn't mean I'm automatically going to let you go. And if I do write you, it doesn't mean I'm not a cool cop. There was a middle-aged guy who bought a brand new Mercedes convertible SLK. He took off down the road, flooring it up to 80 miles per hour and enjoying the wind blowing through what little hair he had left on his head. This is great, he thought, and floored it some more. He looked in his rear view mirror and there was a Florida highway patrol trooper behind him. Blue lights flashing and siren blasting. I can get away from him with no problem, thought the man, and he floored it some more and flew down the road at over 100 miles per hour. Then he thought, what am I doing here? I'm too old for this kind of thing, and pulled over to the side of the road and waited for the state trooper to catch up with him. The trooper pulled in behind the Mercedes and walked up to the man. Sir, he said, looking at his watch, my shift ends in 30 minutes and today is Friday the 13th. If you can give me a reason why you were speeding that I've never heard before, I'll let you go. Apostrophe. The man looked back at the trooper and said, last week my wife ran off with a state trooper and I thought you were bringing her back. Apostrophe. The state trooper said, have a nice day. Apostrophe. Obligatory, not a cop, but my father once got out of a ticket by pretending to be a Catholic priest. He is not Catholic, but uses some of the same liturgical dress and is easily mistaken for a priest when wearing a clerical shirt and collar. When he was pulled over for speeding, he made sure the cop saw his collar and his cane. The cop didn't want to give a ticket to a sick priest and just let him go on without a warning. My father replied with bless you, my son, and went on his merry way. Here, Dr. My dad impersonates Catholic priests. Also not a cop, but my best friend got out of a ticket for accidentally flashing a boob at the officer. She had just gotten the tattoo that went around the outside of her breast and couldn't wear a bra. While it was healing, she was pulled over for speeding, and while nervously trying to get her ID, insurance, and registration, her boob fell out of her tank top. The police officer kept trying to get her attention, and she got frustrated and sort of yelled, yes, I know, license and registration. Give me a minute. And the officer responded with, miss, please, your shirt. She looked down, became beet red, and quickly tucked her boob back in and handed him her paperwork without trying to make any eye contact. The officer started laughing because he realized she was incredibly embarrassed and not actually trying to flash him, so he told her just to slow it down and let her go. She's gotten out of a few other tickets pretty ingeniously, but that's my favorite story. Long ago, approximate 30 years ago, My family were visiting America. We had hired a car and were zipping all over the place. We did Disney, Yosemite, Grand Canyon and all that jazz. I can remember the being pulled over by a cop, but I can't remember where. I do remember it was around the time we passed by Zizix. Or however you spell it. We stopped and took a photo of the sign. Whilst scooting along a highway we were originally going the speed limit. As you can imagine, every other man and his dog were ripping past us. I think the final straw for my dad was when we kept getting overtaken by trucks. So had added a few miles per hour onto the speed. All good until we came over a bridge. Cop car on the other side. Lights went on. Dad pulled over. However, the cop car didn't move. About a minute or so later, the cop got out of the car. Had the real Smokey Bear hat. Dad wound down the window. Cop in really heavy Texan drawl, "Can I help you, sir?" Dad, Aussie accent. "Saw you flash your lights and thought you wanted me to pull over." Cop starts laughing. "Oh, no sir. I just flashed my lights so you'd see me and not hit me."
Show, don't tell. Every writer, every designer, every artist in human history.
Ask Reddit. What historical fact always makes you chuckle? That time when around 3 men claimed to be the Pope and all excommunicated each oath. Ancient Romans loved their dogs as much as we do. There are entire surviving texts of people talking about their daily, monotonous life with dogs. In some cases, we have more information about their dogs and what they did with them than other aspects of Roman life. On a less funny but sweet note, when their dogs died, many of them were given elaborate graves with highly decorative tombstones. They often carved poems about them, or wrote in length about how much they'll miss them, or what they loved about them most. These dog graveyards were considered sacred, and vandalizing them was a major offense. A Polish artillery supply corps adopted a bear, made him a soldier, and kept him for the duration of the war. Mishaw's ruins. Archaeologists explored some old Viking chambers and found inscriptions that were 14 feet tall and unreadable. After years deciphering these runes, they translated to, "This is very high. We haven't changed." Imagine patrolling the Alps and you see elephants rolling up, but you don't even know what an elephant is. In all the Apollo missions 3 guys were sent to the moon, but only 2 guys got into the lander and went down and walked on the moon. The 3rd guy stayed in the command module in orbit and had to listen to the radio chatter of the other 2 guys talking about how badass it was to walk on the moon. Napoleon had a brother who lived in New Jersey. There was a war between Michigan and Ohio over Toledo, and the Ohioans evacuated so fast there weren't even any casualties. As a result, the government gave Michigan the Upper Peninsula and Ohio got to keep Told. Pepsi, the soft drinks, once had the 6th largest military in the world. Due to an agreement with the Russians, they supplied them with drinks until Russia couldn't pay for them anymore. So instead they gave Pepsi an arsenal of submarines and other military equipment, leading to them having the 6th largest military in the world at that moment. When Governor George Wallace, backed by the Alabama National Guard, blocked 2 black students from entering the University of Alabama, President Kennedy simply took over the Alabama Guard and ordered them to remove Wallace from the entrance. How Emperor Frederick Barbarossa died by drowning in waist-deep water, and then how Hitler named a military invasion after a man who died by drowning in waist-deep water, which then failed. The Battle of Bull Run during the American Civil War was called the Picnic Battle because so many civilians from Washington went on picnics on the sidelines and watched. But once the battle actually started and the Union started to get its ass kicked, they all ran away, running over injured soldiers and dead bodies, and generally disrupting the battle. This was actually a relatively common thing during the Civil War. I know it happened at Gettysburg too. One of the founding fathers, Gouverneur Morris, killed himself by inserting a whale bone into his urethra to help clear up a urinary tract blockage. Giles Corey, one of the men accused and killed during the Salem witch trials, was pressed to death. There was a phrase an accused person was supposed to say even they were brought in for charges, without which a trial couldn't happen. He paused, evidently a bit shocked at what he considered the absurdity of being accused. He was like 75 years old, and the panel he was brought before began to panic. Then he realized what was going on, and decided to simply refuse to say the phrase, so they couldn't try him for being a witch. He was brought to basically a ditch, a plank of wood placed over him, and large stones placed on the wood. The intention was to press the phrase out of him. His last words are alleged to be more weight. The US and North Korea almost went to war over a tree. The US wanted to chop down a few branches, because they could not see the DPRK guard post. The US chopped some branches, and pissed off the North Koreans. The North Korean guards killed 2 US soldiers. In retaliation, the US created Operation Paul Bunan. The mission chopped down the tree. A few guys went to the tree, and had the support of a US infantry company and 20 utility helicopters and 7 Cobra attack helicopters circled behind them. Behind these helicopters, B-52 Stratofortresses came from Guam escorted by US F-4 Phantom seconds from Kunsan Air Base, and South Korean F-5 and F-86 fighters were visible flying across the sky at high altitude. At Taegu Air Base, F-111 bombers of the 366th Tactical Fighter Wing out of Mountain Home Air Force Base were stationed, and F-4C and D Phantoms from the 18th TFW Kadena Air Base and Clark Air Base were also deployed. The aircraft carrier US Midway Task Force had also been moved to a station just offshore. The mission was a success. During the Austro-Prussian War, Liechtenstein sent out an army of 80 men. They came back with 81 men, having suffered no casualties, and made a friend of one Austrian man who they brought back home to Vaduz with them. This means that they came back home stronger than they had when they were sent out. Lenin was really into fitness. While he was in exile in Switzerland, an Olympic weightlifter who was a communist came to visit him. Lenin was super excited and immediately got this man to teach him how to lift the barbell properly using brooms, because they were the closest thing to a barbell at hand. Lenin's wife Nadezhda saw them and started giggling about how stupid they looked, and Lenin apparently said stop laughing. This is serious business. The bat bomb. A dentist friend of Eleanor Roosevelt's proposed that not only were the Japanese terrified of bats, bats could roost in difficult to access areas of Japanese buildings. Combine this with a timed incendiary device and the wood and rice paper construction of Japanese buildings. The Army Air Force spent 6 months trying to build the damn things, and achieved little aside from burning down the test range at Carlsbad Army Airfield Auxiliary Air Base when some of the bats escaped, nested under a fuel tank, and did their patriotic duty 6,000 miles from the
Show, don't tell. Every writer, every designer, every artist and
intended target. After the debacle at Carlsbad, the USAF fobbed the project off to the Navy, who wisely passed it along to the Marines. To everyone's surprise, the Marine Corps was able to get the project to work, even carrying out a successful test at Dugway Proving Grounds in Utah. Unfortunately, the project lost out to the atomic bomb, and was cancelled in early 1944. Bruce Wayne could not be reached for comment. Adolf Hitler had many physical ailments. His rampant drug use is well known, but of his lesser known issues is that he suffered a lot of stomach problems as well as occasional insomnia. So his infinitely wise doctor prescribed him laxatives and sleeping pills. The combination of that then gave Hitler really bad and embarrassing gas problem. The Soviets had specially trained dogs for space launches. Before one launch the dog ran away, so they just grabbed a random stray, named it substitute for missing Bobik, and sent it instead. The Apollo 10 mission is involved in several mysteries, from spooky music heard by the crew on the far side of the moon, to the ongoing search for Snoopy and possible recent sightings of its long-lost S-4B stage. However, the most fascinating mystery of Apollo 10 has to be the infamous Rogue Turd incident. You can't make this shit up. On Lewis and Clark's expedition, William Clark was accompanied by his slave York. Local natives had never seen an African man before. There were instances of them trying to scrub the color off his skin. Some of the tribesmen insisted he have sex with their wives. In 80th BC, a man named Vers became governor of Sicily. was simultaneously an absolute tyrant and madlord. On one hand, he would tax his citizens so highly and overwork his farmers so much there was an alarmingly high suicide rate in the rural community of Sicily. On the other hand, the man accomplished hilarious levels of shithousery. When invited for dinner by people, he would have his servants steal expensive bits of artwork, jewelry and cutlery when no one was looking and then leave. My favorite thing he did was appoint a butcher as head of the Sicilian navy, just so he could sleep with the man's wife. This led to pirates sacking Sicily, because of course it fucking did. He was a butcher in charge of a navy protecting an island in the middle of the fucking Mediterranean, and then doing a lap of honor around the island. Vez eventually retired, forcibly after word of his fuckery had reached Rome, to the south of France, where he would live to a ripe old age before being proscribed, assassinated by order of the Roman dictatorship, by Mark Antony over a dispute about one of his, probably stolen, artworks. All in all, an amusing life. Esperanto is a relatively famous invented language made in the 1880s. It has a few million speakers worldwide, including native speakers over the course of multiple generations. Its purpose was to be a language that all people could easily learn, regardless of where they are from, so that everyone had a mutual language. This is known as an auxlang. It's one of the most successful invented languages in history, if not one. What makes me chuckle is that part of what helped propel it to popularity when it was made is that there were already people looking for a good auxlang, but the language holding that role at the time, Volapük, was pretty bad and everyone hated the creator. When Esperanto was made, the creator was much nicer to deal with, so everyone abandoned Volapük and joined the Esperanto movement. Ask Reddit. People who have dialed numbers written on bathroom stalls, what's your story? There was a guy in my group of friends that annoyed the hell out of me. I made a free yard work by the mentally challenged sign and hung them up in Costco bathrooms numerous times for about 5 summers in a row. He would always complain of these stupid people calling him, thinking he was someone who liked to do yard work for free. Never did tell him it was me. Got a dial tone, turned out to be Domino's. Decided, why not? I ordered pizza and went home from the bus station. Never dialed one myself, but I answered a call one day from an unrecognized number. He was in a bathroom stall at Arby's. That read for a long philosophical conversation followed closely by rough sex call. And my phone number. Now I didn't write it, but I guess word gets around. I found a business card in a phone booth printed cryptically with, "If you don't call, you'll never know," and a phone number. Since I had time left on the phone card, I called, and now I know. It was a pseudo-religious self-help cult trying to recruit people to seminars at their ranch in like New Mexico somewhere with promises of finding a new spiritual family. No thanks. The last thing I need is more family. I dialed a number from my college bathroom stalls that said free blowjob. I thought it was going to be the police department or something asinine, but I wanted to do it anyway because you never know, and it was a number for vector marketing. I saw a number scratched on a table at a bar that said something like, "Call Mike, he's been really mean." So I sent Mike a text telling him to be nicer, and in response he sent me back several angry "Who the hell is this?" texts over the next few days. He's really mean. I was at a restaurant and they had the give $1 to charity and put your name on this piece of paper we post on our wall. While waiting in the lobby for a friend, I saw one that had a name and a phone number with "call me" under it. I figured, what the hell, why not? Girl answers and I ask if it's XXXXXX. She says yes. I explain I'm in the lobby of the restaurant and her name is on the wall with her phone number. She doesn't believe me despite my best efforts to convince her I don't know who she is. Eventually she asks me to walk out of the front door of the restaurant, which I obliged, and she says holy shit. Meanwhile I'm standing in a parking lot looking around trying to figure out who the hell is looking at me. She asked me to take the paper down and thank me. Apparently one of her coworkers told her that he did it, and she didn't believe him. They worked in the area and frequented the restaurant. In high school I messaged one that was on the backseat of a bus that was going through a town that was a 30-minute drive from my town. I texted, "Who is this? Your number is on the backseat of this bus." They reply, "Greg." I told my classmate about it a week later, since his name was also Greg. Sure enough, he holds out his phone with a text message from me in there. About 10 years ago somebody wrote call 30th XXXX for a good time on the sidewalk. So I saved the number for shits thinking I would call the number and at least let them know how I got it, but I never did. Just kept the number saved as. Well, the other day I was on Snapchat and saw pop up and suggested friends or whatever, so I added her. She added me back. She's a babe, and I have no idea what to say to her, but I wanna tell her how I got her number and not seem weird. Found a number on the bathroom stall in a bar. When you need a friend, when something great happens and you have no one to tell, when you want to vent, when you want to be spontaneous, when you need help getting home from a drunken stupor, call 30 RIP Ryan. I cried and called to tell her what a great message it was, and we both cried and talked for a few hours. I knew a guy that called a number written on a $5 bill. He figured she must be a quality girl because it was a 5 and not a single. She had a great voice on the phone, so they made a date. He played guitar in a popular local band, and there was a hip restaurant next to the club they were playing, so they arranged to meet before the gig. He figured they'd have dinner and then he'd impress the shit out of her with his playing. He was a truly fine guitarist. So he walked into the restaurant and looked for a girl in a pink dress. There was one, and she was enormous. So he slipped out before she saw him. So during the show, he sees the crowd part as the girl in the pink dress makes her way to the front, where she glares at him during the entire set. Afterwards, she screamed at him for standing her up. He felt a little guilty, but he said he'd felt worse if he'd had dinner with her and then dropped her. After all this, his warning was to not call numbers you see on currency. Not in a bathroom stall, but someone had once written one of my male friend's number on a classroom bench. A girl called him, they talked, and began dating. Eventually, a guy who had a crush on her beat my friend up, and that is how my friend lost his first girlfriend. When my friend and I were about 11, there was a public bathroom in the park where we had soccer practice, and outside that public bathroom was a payphone, and on that payphone was scrawled a number, and above it the word sex. I don't recall ever paying for a call, so maybe it was a 1-800 number. I don't remember. It was a recording of a woman's voice. I remember only the beginning, but I can hear it crystal clear. "You wanna have fun? Yep," and then a bunch of feminine giggling. We would hang up when the recording asked for a credit card number to continue the call. I think we were terrified our parents' credit cards would somehow get charged, and we would get caught. Kid logic. We were / are both straight females, but we still called that thing all the time. It was seriously the most risque thing I had ever done up to that point, and also probably for a long time afterwards, sadly. I was at the bus stop and saw this text: "If you are in deep shit, call this number." I called the number cause I had like 30 minutes to bus. It was local small taxi company. I told him to come and pick me up. He saved me like 25 minutes of waiting. The guy was cool, and I even gave him solid tip. I was playing Jenga at a local bar with some friends. All the blocks had people's numbers on it, so we made a rule that you had to TXT any number you pulled out. The first person I TXT'd sent me a picture of a pile of coffee beans labeled "Find the can I." There was a tiny can I face on a bean in the bottom left corner. Never, but I was in this English pub in Tokyo and the walls were pretty typical of an English pub. West Ham forever, Sarah is a slut and so on. Then one said, "Is anyone interested in joining our baseball team?" Every Sunday at 11 AM with his phone number. He must have thought it was an actual message board. Bless. An old sounding woman answered, offered the best BJ in town. Asked her how much, told me $5. I asked her if it was blueberry or blackberry jam. She called me a dumbus. Bossin Berry Jam Dumbus. Those other ones are out of season. I got me a BJ. I used to call the numbers and inform the recipient of where there were not such nice things written with their name and number. They'd always ask what it said. I'd always reply that I wasn't sure they wanted to know, but they would insist. I would tell them verbatim in my radio announcer voice and listen to the shock emanate from the cell phone. They'd always ask me to mark it out, but I would tell them that I didn't have a pen or Sharpie. Found my sister's number once and couldn't stop laughing. There was a flyer posted on a bulletin board at this coffee shop asking for your best Wiki impersonation. The flyer told you to call and leave a message if they didn't pick up, and the best one would win $25. I figured it was too good to be true, so I called the guy and let him know what it said and where it was. He was wondering why he had gotten so many weird voicemails, but appreciated the heads up. Best experience, became regular fuck buddies with the guy. He was a bike enthusiast and we went biking several weekends. Worst experience, went to meet the guy. After talking and deciding whose penis would go into whose orifice was the guy had lied about his stats. I'm talking real chubby, beer belly out to 10 months pregnancy level. Well, I'm here anyway all revved up, secretly grit my teeth and say let's do it. He wants it without condom. He claims to be virgin and needs his cherry popped. Seriously, dude, your number is on the freaking wall of mall bathroom and you want me to believe you are virgin? He got offended at my nasty insinuations, told me to go fuck yourself and loose my number. I ain't gonna want to see your insert racial slur for brown people here face ever, and I should go back to my own country where I belong and do unspeakable things to goats. When I told him we have no goats in Toronto, the weather is much too cold for them, he got even more mad. Fun times. Dialed up a number, scratched on a horse feed shed storage door, out in Loudoun County, Virginia, and Robert Devil answered. He cautioned me to not use it again, lest I could deliver him to 55 lbg of horse and mule feed. It was written on a piece of paper way back around 10 years ago. It said call this number if you are struggling with life. I was 13. So I called the number. We never met, but he had a really sweet voice and we talked for about an hour. Gave me great advice about how the world can be cruel to gays like me, but that the first future will get better. We never communicated after that. If I could meet that guy, to thank him even for just a secretary, I would. Thanks Mr. Target. That's what he wanted to be called. I saw the number read Hunger Games hotline, so I took a picture of it in case I ever wanted to call it. A year later I'm on a school field trip coming back from DC when I tell my friend we should call this one number. He says yes, we dial it, and we hear robots having SE. When I was younger, someone wrote for a good time call, and my number on the playground slide. People would call a couple times a week, laugh and then hang up. It started to get annoying, so I went to the playground to cover it up. Someone saw me doing it and called the cops saying I was vandalizing the playground. I had to explain to the cop that I was just removing my number so people would stop calling me. Okay, so it isn't a bathroom stall, but a hilarious story. Back a long time ago, Paris Hilton had her mobile sidekick hacked and all her contacts numbers leaked online. I was contracting some 15 to 16 year old kid to do a website for me at the time. About 4 to 5 hours before the list went public, this guy building my site hits me up on AIM. Yeah, that old, and is like my buddy just did some crazy hack. He got all these celebs numbers. Bullshit I said, because at the time this was unheard of. He sent me a text file of about 150 names. The first one that stuck out to me, that I knew who they were, was Fred Durst. Rang him up, froze, and then said, yes, is this Mr. Durst? Yeah, who is this? I truthfully explained the exact scenario and my morbid skepticism led me to dial him up. He said something about him going to have to turn his phone off now and actually thanked me for giving him a heads up. After that I waited a few hours and picked a number at random. Someone I didn't recognize or know. Wrong idea. She picked up the phone and said my number was now logged into her phone and the FBI were on the case. Whatever. And she hoped I died. At that moment I knew the list went public. I logged into some mic chats and it was story after story of interactions. I don't like his music, but Fred Durst seemed like a cool cat and I like to think I gave him a heads up before shit hit the fan.
Welcome to the Freelancer's Journey, a course that covers each step of freelance web design in what John calls
Ask Reddit. People who have drill instructors / drill sergeants of Reddit, what's the funniest thing you've seen a recruit do that you couldn't laugh at? If you enjoy this video, consider giving it a like and subscribing. Had one recruit paying attention to a bunch of geese rather than us. Made him get up and chase them all away. As they flew in the air we made him follow them for several hundred feet to make sure they wouldn't come back. I was dying of laughter on the inside. So when you start basic your body doesn't know how to handle no sugar, caffeine, rigorous exercise, and sleeping schedules. So it's in shock. With this shock, shitting becomes a problem for a few. Well, every DI after the first week is required to ask around if everyone has taken a shit, and from there he assigns one recruit to track who has shit and who has not. I shit you not, pun intended. We had one guy who would stand in the barracks at the end of the night rolling off names of people who hadn't shit yet. Finally, we have one guy who is still on there after 2 weeks and the DI tells him to go to the doctor. The doctor gives him an get out of jail free card, essentially saying that at any point, he says the magical words I gotta shit and he can escape any situation. Well, recruit can't shit, we'll call him gets the smart idea that he's going to play his new trump card as long as possible. Every time that we are getting grilled, I gotta take a shit comes ringing in from the back of the formation. This probably happened 6 times until RDI caught on. Finally RDI devises a plan that when recruit can't shit goes into the bathroom, he's going to have a couple of us hold onto his legs and slide him into the stall or Exorcist style. The time comes, and recruit can't shit excuses himself. We all follow RDI into the bathroom and slide him under there, like he's the spawn of Satan. This catches recruit can't shit by surprise. He doesn't know what the fuck is going on as the DI is utterly berating him about lying and using this as an excuse to sit on the toilet. Then we hear a very audible oh shit from the stall. The DI scared the recruit so much he actually took a shit right then and there. The DI made every recruit look at it, and we played taps for it as we flushed it down the toilet. An RDC in another division asked a guy if he shaved that morning and the guy claimed he had. The RDC said, recruit, you are either a werewolf or you are lying. So which is it? The guy responded, I must be a werewolf, petty officer. We weren't allowed to talk during chow at the galley. You had to point at what you wanted another recruit to pass, and they had to silently pass it. One recruit wanted a napkin and pointed. The other recruit asked, this? The CC's, Coast Guard DS, immediately came over, circling him like sharks, screaming at him. They made him put like 10 saltines in his mouth and chew until his mouth was full. Then asked the first recruit if he wanted a napkin again. He barely could get it out, spitting pieces of cracker everywhere. Then they screamed at the first recruit to answer him, but we were all silently cracking up. Sounded like this. Phew, went a napkin. Pieces of saltines flying out. Answer him. Cracking up. Almost crying. No, thank you. It was the best. We had 2 5 feet 1 inch stocky blonde guys named Johnson in our company. One cycled different platoons. No relation at all, but they looked really similar. One day during grass week a couple J-hats made them face each other and go back and forth screaming, you're not Johnson, I'm Johnson. No. Fuck you. You're not Johnson, I'm Johnson. You have absolutely no clue how hard it was to not break into a million pieces after about 5 minutes of that. Oh shit, it's probably too late for this, but I just thought of one. I was a super light sleeper during basic training. One night I woke up for no reason. The sleeping bay was dark except for the light by the desk where the 2 soldiers on fire guard were supposed to be awake and alert. Both of them were leaning back in their chairs dead asleep. I started to throw my covers off to go wake them up. If a drill sergeant came through and caught the fire guard sleeping, we'd all pay. But then I heard a slow scraping sound to my right, off in the darkness. I froze and heard it again, closer. A few heartbeats later I almost screamed out loud as I saw the sharp and tense face of our Samoan drill sergeant in the darkness. His face was covered in full camo. He was low crawling underneath the line of bunk beds towards the fire guard. He had a bayonet in between his teeth. We locked eyes, and he silently raised one finger to his mouth, signaling for silence. I nodded and sat back to watch the show as the drill sergeant resumed his low crawl under and passed my bunk in the direction of the sleeping guards. I have a bunch of stories of funny shit I did to correct soldiers when I later became an NCO, but that image, like something straight out of an 80s war movie, will always stick with me. I work at basic training ranges, and we had a drill sergeant yell at his soldier while they were getting ready to go down a buddy lift fire exercise. The soldier froze and started crying. This 18-year-old kid was just in tears for getting yelled at. The DS yelled at him some more, and he finally gave up cause this kid wouldn't stop crying. So he made him scoop tears off his face and put them in his pockets till he filled his pockets up with tears. He did this for like an hour. It was hilarious. Not a DI, but I enjoyed watching this happen. On hikes my DIs loved having conversations using the recruits as messengers. The DI at the end of the formation would send a recruit to the front to give the DI up there a message, and back they would either have stupid conversations or talk trash using the recruit. I'll never forget this one. Whenever a recruit would bust ass, we would make them turn on the vacuum cleaner, which meant we would yell who the fuck just shit themselves. This recruit is attempting to attack our olfactory sense. Platoon, turn on the vacuum, which would be followed by turn on the vacuum aye sir, and then all the recruits would suck in through their mouth as hard as they could. However, one time, we had a recruit who immediately answered when we asked who shit themselves that this recruit shit himself sir. Turns out recruit Jones shit himself during a late night drill session in 3rd phase. By then recruits are disciplined and almost always put the mission first, even if that mission is just executing left face march without asking to go to the head. Poor kid sat in his own shit for almost 2 hours. There was a dumbass in my basic that, after firing, he had his rifle up on his shoulder pointing the wrong way towards the DS, clearing it with the mag still in. The DS, 6'8" bodybuilder, slammed the fucker into the sandbag screaming at him, and then the recruit had to lay prone in the dirt with holding a stick for a rifle, periodically saying bang for the next 3 or 4 hours. Somehow he still graduated with us. I was going through Air Force basic training, and when on guard duty, if an unauthorized person wanted to be let into the bunks, you had to report it to your drill sergeant. Our sister flight's drill sergeant came up while I was on guard and requested entry, so I reported to my sergeant, and he had me ask the other a series of questions. This particular sergeant had a bushy mustache, so one question I had to ask was, in what year was Magnum PI cancelled? He dropped out of view from the window laughing, came back up, and yelled it was never cancelled because I'm still here. It took everything I had not to crack up. Story from my wife while she was in BCT. They are eating chow one day early on, maybe first or second day out of reception, and they hear a drill instructor yelling, "Why the fuck are you eating salad with a spoon?" Apparently, in reception they had been told not to bother with forks since they had 5 minutes to eat their meals. Dude wanted a salad. He decided, fuck it, I'm eating salad with a spoon. Hilarity ensued. Drill instructors let everyone know that not using forks is a dumb fucking rule, and whoever told them that is fucking stupid. It's an unwritten rule that early on you're supposed to stick to the normal foods and not venture off from the basics. We had one guy on the first week grab a cheesecake for lunch. Next thing I know, all 4 DIs have their own cheesecake and sit down next to him. They're all asking him how his day is going, if he's having fun, any girls in his life, etc. A totally normal exchange, which caught us all off guard. Finally they all finish, and as our DI is getting up he says, "Recruit, that won't be the last time I see that cheesecake." It wasn't the last time. The recruit threw it up later after the DI made him run 3 times more than us. We had an old Korean dude in our platoon in BCT. Dude had been part of the Korean Marines and Air Force, and just joined for green card. Anyways, it's like week 2, and in chow the only thing you can drink is juice or water. This guy goes and sets his tray down, walks back to the drink line in front of the DS table, pours a cup of coffee and walks back to his seat. DS couldn't say anything for a bit, because they were all just stunned. Finally one yells, "Private, what the fuck are you doing?" Dude doesn't stand up or anything, and in his broken English, with a dismissive click of his teeth and wave of his hand just goes, "I'm tired. I need coffee," and just ignored the further yells, while he got a couple of gulps down. Dude got smoked for a while on that, but nothing they did bothered him. Whenever he got back to barracks I asked how bad it was, and he said nothing could ever be worse than the Korean Marines. Edit. Few people asking for some more stories about this guy, and really only have one more. Dude kept to himself. The only other story I have about him was, we were always expected to be showered and be in bed by a certain time. This guy did not like getting in the shower with anyone. He refused. Usually it would be first fire guard shift's job to clean the bathrooms after everyone was done and in bed, but for whatever reason a couple of dipshits decided they wanted to start cleaning just before it was time to go to sleep. Anyway, after everyone is getting dressed / climbing in to bed, you could hear the slap of Rock Soldier's shower shoes as he went to go take a shower, but the other guys were already cleaning. They started to yell at him. He started to yell at them, and we all watched to see what was gonna happen. This was like halfway into basic, and it's the first time I really heard this guy raise his voice. After they argued for a good few minutes, he just walked away grumbling to himself. So about 10 minutes pass by without issue, and by this time, everyone is mostly in beds. I walk into the bathroom and this guy had just filled a sink with water and was washing himself off there. I walk by to the stall behind him to take my shit. When I'm done, I walk out of the stall and this guy has one leg up on the counter and is fanning himself dry with his towel. I got an awfully tainted view. I kind of half shouted, "What the fuck, dude?" because I was surprised. Then he started going off about the dudes not letting him shower. Fire guard guys come over to see, and then they start bitching about the mess he just made again. Wouldn't have been so bad had they just let the man shower. And then the DS walks in to see two guys in full uniform arguing with a small naked Korean man who was yelling back in Korean, and me just standing there trying to understand what the fuck is going on. DS woke everyone up to tell them that only he is able to take away shower privileges, and we all had a quick smoke session before he left. That is an image that doesn't go away. You just reminded me of a breakfast one morning. Navy boot camp. I made myself a deviled egg using a hard-boiled, a packet of mayo, and one of mustard. Petty officer walked by, saw it on my tray, and froze. Recruit. What the hell is that? It's a deviled egg. Petty officer. Where the hell did you get a deviled egg? I made it. Petty officer. God damn it, recruit. That's the best fucking idea I've ever seen. Carry on. Yes, petty officer. I had been so terrified I was about to get in trouble for it for some reason. While in basic we had a female that loved to smile. She was just a happy person in general. Well, my TI, training instructor, came in, and she caught the female trainee smiling. TI didn't like smiling. She walked up to the female trainee and yelled, "Wipe that smile off your face." Female trainee stopped smiling. The TI continued to yell, "No, literally wipe the smile off your face with your hand." Trainee does so. "Now throw it on the ground." Trainee follows orders. "Now stomp on it and scream, 'Die, smile, die,' as loud as you can." The female trainee stood there for a second before following through. Her tiny little voice cracks as she yelled, "Die, smile, die." And I will say it took everything I had not to bust out laughing. I think I'm done with this thread for a while. There's literally 100 more really funny posts, but I feel like posting a story. I was the recruit here, but while I was in basic training for the Air Force, our trash detail was short a man for some reason. I offered to help cause the team was all cool guys. We were also out of trash bags, we took the whole basket down. Important side note, the power was out, and we had been advised that if the fire alarms went off, we were to evacuate to the drill pad as normal. So the alarms went off as we were coming back up to the building and our flight started evacuating only to get caught, screamed at and lined up by a TSGT front CQ. The trash crew knew they had to line up too, and me being about 6'1" and overweight at the time, I stuck out a bit anyways, but then I was also carrying the trash can, a huge metal one. I wasn't sure what to do, so I stood at attention with my arms around it and held it in front of me. The TSGT was baffled and had a good scream at me, asking why I evacuated it and why it was my best friend, so I explained we were out of bags. He cracked a few more lines at me before hurrying off to not lose his bearing. Then two SSGTs came out, if CQ just to see it, and questioned me about my loyalty and how good I was to save my friend. I was trainee trash can for the rest of basic, even to my MTIs. Drill Sergeants of Reddit, Part 3. Obligatory not a drill sergeant stories. As a private, I watched my CO do something I couldn't laugh at. We are doing our long road march at the end of basic training, with our Alice packs weighed down with gear. At the start our CO, pro bodybuilder, I'm talking 4th place light / heavyweight Mr. USA, had a large instead of a medium, the biggest rucksack the US Army issued at the time. His pack wasn't just loaded, it looked ready to literally burst at the seams. The entire road march he keeps offering to change packs with the privates, going up and down the line with this huge grin on his face. He gets to me, and I think F it, why not? As I go to trade packs with him, I realize the bag he hands me is completely filled with pillows. It weighed maybe 5 pounds. He looks at me and motions for me not to say anything and just walks off. So I did the second half of our road march with pretty much no weight. Not a DI, but witnessed it. In our boot camp division we had this huge corn-fed dude that had to be close to 7 feet tall, 250, 300 pound stocky dude. One of the RDC's, Navy DI, was 5 feet 5 or 5 feet 6, substantially shorter than this enormous recruit. We were lined up into rows, facing each other at attention, and the RDC was walking back and forth asking questions for a quiz we had going on. If you got a question wrong you would have to do push-ups. Short RDC gets to the big recruit and asks him his question. Don't remember what it was, but the recruit gave him an answer that was obviously wrong, and it made a guy across from him crack a smirk. When big recruit saw another recruit smile, he proceeded to smile, and RDC didn't like that. So, seeing as how the recruit had a good 1.5 feet of height on the RDC walks away in silence, comes back with a chair, places it in front of the recruit and hops up on the chair, so he's now eye level with the recruit. He starts ripping into him for smiling and not knowing the answer to the previous question. The way he quietly walked away, dragged the chair, and popped up on it like a little kid was enough, and we all started laughing uncontrollably. The RDC, still on the chair, turned around and yelled for us to all shut up. That added to the hilarity, but eventually started to calm down. RDC, still on the chair, tells us to drop and start doing push-ups, but not before he smirked and gave a quiet MF as he dragged the chair back to the office. When my mother served in the Navy she had to do BT twice because 10 weeks and she had injured her knee. My mother was a small woman 5 feet 5 inches, maybe 120 pounds back then, but was always a bit of a scrapper and had actually gotten a few of the other soldiers in trouble for not following regulations. Family is definitely a military family, so she likes her procedures. So her second round of BT she ended up with the same MSG as her first time through. This is how she tells the exchange when standing at attention. MSG, Private Adornus Mom, why are you standing in my line again? Well, Master Sergeant, I missed basic so much I just had to do it a second time. Are you gonna be causing trouble with the boys this time around as well? Men in line start getting excited. Only if they like laying on their backs, Master Sergeant. MSG, to men in line, I don't think any of you are man enough to mess with her. Some other soldier, why is that, Master Sergeant? Because last time she went through basic one of the other privates tried to sneak into the woman's barracks with a very intoxicated female recruit. Private Adornus Mom here gave him a warm comfy bed in the infirmary for the night. Isn't that right, Private? Yes, Master Sergeant. Obligatory, not a TI. RTI came in one morning hungover. His instructions were very clear: I'm hungover and have a headache from hell. I don't even want to hear a mouse fart. Get your wall lockers ready for deadlines tomorrow and we'll have a nice easy day today. Simple enough, except as stated so many times before, our own airman pile had other plans. Both bays of the dormitory was silent. Everyone was at their bunk working on whatever they felt needed to be squared away. I was clipping threads on my dress blues when a faint humming starts back in the jungle, double bunk area. RTI, from in his office, screams, "Stop that humming." Humming continues unabated. What the F? You better knock that shit off. By now most of us are looking around trying to identify where the humming is coming from, but it was too late. The TI strolls out of his office, blue shirt unbuttoned, no hat, eyes bloodshot and baggy, darting around the bay looking for the offender. He gets to the very back of bay 1 and stops, looks at one of us lower airmen, and begins to light him up. TI, so, you like to sing, huh? Get in your wall locker. A P. I'm sorry sir. No, I gave you a chance. Hell, I gave you 2. At this point his voice drops, and he steps closer to the airman. Now get in your locker. The airman complies and puts himself in his large section on his wall locker with the door open. Close it. The airman pulls the door shut. People are trying so hard not to laugh at this point, mused included, and the TI pulls a coin from his pocket and proceeds to slide it through the slot at the top of the locker. Okay jukebox, play me a song. People start dying, red-faced and laughing. RTI turns to the rest of the dorm deadpan, stern-faced. That was pretty funny, huh? At this point the kid is still in his locker not making a sound. The TI kicks the locker and says, "If you don't play me a song I better get my damn money back." At this point the kid starts humming again inside his locker. We all lost it, including the TI. It was hilarious. And now to the incredible adventures of Fubar Good Boy. Okay, not DS, but one of the troops that always had them rolling. I went to basic at Jackson in 2004. This is important, because at that time a lot of the DS were DS, because they had deployed too many times, and weren't really suited for any other assignment. So why not make them in charge of molding new troops, right? Our DS had us sit around him, POW wow style, like you see in kindergarten at story time. He is the only one in a chair. He's telling us about all the shit he saw while deployed, making these crazy faces and gestures. He starts getting really into it, spittle flying everywhere. He jumps up from his chair, mid-sentence, and grabs a grenade from his desk, pulls a pin, and says, "F it, F you worthless pieces of stuff, I'm done." Chucks the grenade into the middle of us. Everyone, including me, scrambled to get into wall lockers. Couple tried to fly down the stairs. One stupid fucker tried to get himself into the DS office because it had a door and he thought it would protect him. But one private tried to save us all. He dove on that grenade and curled into a ball to shield everyone with his little tubby self. The grenade, obviously, was a dud and the DS was messing with us. The poor sap that jumped on the grenade, every time any DS called out his name he had to yell, "DS." It jumped up and bit me. Too. So back then I was a skinny female, 18, with short hair and BCGS, birth control glasses. One DS figured out that I looked almost exactly like Harry Potter. Because of this, I was given extra equipment that I was required to carry on me at all times. A camo stick and an actual stick. Whenever we were out at training, and the DS was bored, he would order me to get ready. So I had to draw a lightning bolt on my forehead using the camo stick, and hold the actual stick at the ready. DS would order everyone to fall in, then order B to sound off. I would have to say Wingardium Leviosa and flick the stick like it was a wand, and I was actually trying to cast a spell. The DS would laugh. Every single time. 3. Our FTX was in February. Our start had been delayed, and we hadn't even set out until late. It was well below freezing, and not even halfway through people were dropping out due to frostbite. We were supposed to get a warming tent, which is a giant tent with one stove in the middle. Between body heat and the stove it was supposed to push you through. But come nightfall, still no heat, just a tent with a dead stove in the middle and a bunch of troops pressed as closely together as possible. DS realize this isn't working, so figure they'd order us to keep moving, and just get to the end. I don't know how far along we were, but our DS tell us to take a break, that they had called and got us chicken soup coming. Tell us to take off our boots and gear and hold fast. 5 minutes later 3DS come screaming out of the woods with CS gas in some cans on the end of sticks yelling chicken soup mother duckers. On top of laughing at everyone crying and snot dripping down their faces, they made anyone who had run away from their weapon do push-ups when they were covered in CS gas. 4. For anyone not military, DS read all letters that get sent in. Or have you read them? One poor guy had a girlfriend send him a naked photo. DS sees this and asks him if he is working on his first fuck trophy, a kid that you have before a deployment or after to mark how many times you've deployed. The poor guy says, DS, I earned that trophy a long time ago. He's thinking that the DS is asking if he is a virgin and going to lose his virginity to this chick. DS responds with something like, if you think real life gives you actual trophies that troop, then I've got one for you. You just won one for the trophy for the ugliest girlfriend I have ever seen. You ever see the movie Bride of Chucky? Because between your looks and hers you all are going to have the ugliest spawn to ever set foot on this earth. Congratulations, Private. The other DS could not contain themselves. If you enjoy this video, consider giving it a like and subscribing. Soldiers of Reddit, what was something that was so funny even the drill sergeant couldn't help but giggle? Someone in basic threw their half-eaten schnitzel into the toilet and tried to flush it. It didn't flush. He left. So we are all in our rooms, as we hear one of our drills scream to get out and line up. We line up and he was one of the super serious guys, 1.9 meters tall, easily 100 kilograms of pure muscle and always mean mugging everyone. He starts screaming at us telling us that we are pigs. No one knew what went on. Then he started yelling, someone threw a freaking schnitzel into the toilet. As he finished he started smiling. First time in months I saw the dude smile. Everyone started laughing hard. He got angry again and started repeating himself. He starts laughing once he hits the schnitzel part again. We all laugh again. He just tells us we are dumbasses and someone better fish that piece of schnitzel out ASAP. Our sergeant liked to take his Smokey Bear hat and tap recruits on the bridge of their nose while yelling at them that he wasn't touching them. I happened to fall in behind him, walking down the bay. He thought it would be a good idea to spin around and poke the brim of his hat into somebody's face. Hit me square in the chest. I'm 6 feet 6 inches tall. I can't even remember what he yelled exactly, but he was trying very hard not to laugh, then spun back around and went into his office with the assistant's TI. They started laughing so loud that we all heard it. Navy boot camp in Orlando, Florida in August of 1989. The company was split up in two, on either side of the center line facing the front of the bay. Our company commander had us doing 4-count jumping jacks where we all had to clap on the second and fourth together. It had to sound like one clap. There were 68 of us and even though we struggled, all of us eventually got it. Well, all of us but one. This poor guy just could not clap with the rest of us. He was eventually pulled up to the front of the bay where he would lead the exercise. At the last second, every time, he would change his pace and ruin it. The company commander smiled throughout and eventually just keeled over laughing at this guy. It's funny though that I don't remember being angry, even though we must have been doing jumping jacks for about 3 hours in 100-degree heat. I do remember that the only reason we quit was because the cement floor was too slippery with sweat to safely continue. I actually have two for this, as one story explains another. One day when we were leaving the range and as the drill sergeants were inspecting everyone, I saw two of them on this really meek dude, and one of them planted used ammo in his thigh pocket, and the other one found it, asked what the hell he was doing with it. They really had him going for a minute before laughing. This next one happened to me personally. It was during the Phase 4 inspection. It's been 11 years, so the name may be wrong, and our sergeant major came up to me first for the inspection. She found a candy bar and zip cream in my locker and asked me why the hell I would have contraband during the inspection I knew was happening since the start of basic. I was mortified, but as she walked by, our commander and one SG were giggling. After the inspection, Someone told my company's drill sergeant that someone hid something in my locker, but didn't inform him it was the SGM, and he came unglued, threatening to smoke the crap out of everyone over it. After he left, the drill sergeant who had slipped the ammo into that kid's pocket on the range came over and asked me what just happened. I replied with someone set me up, like what happened to exit the range that one time. He smiled and said, I don't know what the F you're talking about, and walked away. Not a soldier but an airman. Hopefully you still like the story. We are out on the pad standing in formation waiting for breakfast just like any other BMT morning. We are at the end of our training, so the MTIs tend to not harass you as much in your last week or so at basic. Our MTI has a doctor's appointment or something, so he has a female MTI in the squadron we have seen from time to time watch us while he is gone. So she takes us all from parade rest to attention and addresses the dorm chief, lead trainee position in the flight. He lets out the fatal response of yes sir to whatever the F she said to him. She's a petite athletic looking redhead and would not be mistaken for a sir. She gets right in his face as it leaves his mouth and starting yelling, ah. You make me so mad I just want to whip out my D and slap you across the face with it. If I had one. There were 3 other flights with like 20-40 trainees each, including their MTIs, immediately dying laughing. Even she only held it together for a few seconds of being angry red in the face before laughing. I think you would get in some serious trouble these days yelling great lines like that. We were all sitting in the classroom cleaning our weapons when the drill sergeants rushed in and told us to form up outside now. We all bust ass to get outside, line up ready to go. Couple minutes later, drill sergeant comes out holding a goddamn rifle. One of our air wasters left his effing rifle inside the classroom. Which one of you slack-jawed numbnuts doesn't have their rifle? The soldier identifies himself and he is called up and directed to smoke all of us. Beautiful thing about the army. You F up and everyone else pays for it. So he's up there about to smoke us, but instead he's just frozen. Eyes as big as saucers. Well, what will it be? Goma? Silence. Drill sergeant is pissed and gets in his face and tells for a minute. Now get at it, he concludes. The soldier is frozen. But the silence is broken. Breer it. The soldier lets out the longest and most cartoonish fart I've ever heard. We all do our best to stifle our laughter as we prepare for the crap show that's coming. Drill sergeant says nothing though. Then he cracks a smile. Get the F back inside. Now. 40 rounds, drill sergeant. One time my ankles were legit hurting really bad. Cankles in new boots, yay. So I asked the DS if I could go to the infirmary. He said yes. I said, thanks, dude. He laughed and said, you know I gotta smoke you for that, and he did. But it was nice to see the human side for the first time. Not exactly a drill sergeant, but during basic training we were marching in formation when we suddenly hear a thump. Turns out one of our comrades dropped his helmet. Of course our instructor saw this and responds with Ein deutscher Helm fällt nur einmal. A German helmet is only dropped once. Pretty common military textbook phrase. He commands the soldier to pick up his helmet and we carry on marching. About 30 seconds later we hear the same sound again. So I turn around and ask myself how you can possibly fail the simple task of helmet retention. You basically just clip it to your carry rig, while already waiting to hear the instructor saying the same phrase again. What do I see? Our instructor turning around, doing his personal walk of shame and picking up his helmet. Let's just say we weren't short on beer when we celebrated the end of basic. From a friend at Air Assault, they were fast roping down off towers and there was one guy that was deathly afraid of heights, but was still making his way to pass and he was just standing there, and the instructor yells something along the lines of stop being a pussy and go. He proceeds to jump into the rope, lose his grip and fall the entire way down while screaming Air Assault until he hit the ground. He broke his arm and had to go with the next class. Years ago while doing basic. During the course, you obviously have lots of drill training. Marching, standing at attention, at ease, turning etc. We're all in the drill hall practicing away, when somehow one of the recruits lets out a high-pitched squeal and falls over. Dude managed to squish his nuts together somehow while coming to attention. All 3 instructors sprinted over and started jacking him up, and we're laughing so hard at the same time that they are almost crying. Former German army officer here. When I was a platoon commander in basic training, there was a recruit who was really small in height. I'd say 150 centimeters, 155 tops. Anyway, one day the platoon was cleaning their rooms and one of the NCOs entered said recruit's room. Sure enough, one of them notices the superior, yells attention, and everyone stops doing what they're doing and go into attention. But the little guy was just in the process of cleaning the windows and just so happened to fit right into the window frame in an upright position. So as the NCO scans the room, he is presented with the sight of 3 huge bodybuilding soldiers and a tiny one, standing in attention within a window frame. The poor guy just lost it. When he returned to me, he was still crying tears. ROTC. We were issued demerits for doing stupid things or failing in tasks or just because we looked at someone funny. When they were explaining demerits, they explained it like that, and then mentioned that whoever reached 100 demerits first would receive extra punishment until they worked off 50 of the demerits with PT or whatever passed for merits. At the end of the speech, the instructor gets super loud and says, "Who wants to be my first demerit centurion?" A very enthusiastic cadet stands right up at attention immediately and screams back, "Sir. I do, sir." The instructor burst out laughing at him cause clearly he hadn't been listening or understanding what was being described. He said, "Derp, just sit the F back down, okay?" In Air Force BMT you have to carry the stupid flashlight with you when marching that had this yellow cone on it. One guy in my flight got tired of holding it, so he decided to have his belt hold it like a Jedi would have done with his lightsaber. Well, the instructor sees this and tells him that he has to quick pull out your lightsaber and fight Darth Vader right behind you, another trainee. Watching these 2 idiots have a lightsaber fight was the funniest thing I've seen, which must have been for my instructor since he walks away belly laughing at the 2 retarded Star Wars nerds.